As far back as I can remember, I dreamt of a normal life. A life filled with normal things. A life where monsters don't live in closets or under the bed. A life where ghosts aren't real. I just wanted to be normal. But that didn't happen. It wasn't meant to be. Since my early 20s, I've experienced profound paranormal events that would change my life. Extreme poltergeist activity, living amongst those that have departed this earth in ways unimaginable. It has affected my loved ones and children with no end in sight. I could hear things, see things, and feel things not of this world. I asked myself if this was a gift or a curse. With the help of my mother and close friends, I emerged a paranormal investigator. Since 2013, I have been on a relentless journey to learn about the paranormal. This is my time to share my journey with you. Welcome to my Paranormal Soapbox. Hello, welcome to my Paranormal Soapbox. I'm your friendly neighborhood ghost hunter, Justin Brown, and we are presenting episode 59. Thanks for joining us, guys. We are going to be talking about Mercury Retrograde. Is it a real thing? What's it all about? We're going to look at it from different angles, kind of, get everybody on the same page. I'm eager to hear what everybody thinks about Mercury Retrograde. And we're also going to talk about something that's been on my mind lately, and it deals with paranormal media, which would mean documentaries, TV episodes, anything edited, versus peer-reviewed data from investigations, experiments, and so on and so forth. I kind of want to, get your guys' thoughts on that and, give you guys my thoughts on that as well. But again, thanks for joining us. I see everybody saying hi in the chat. I hope everybody had a great week. I will start off by saying that this week has been very stressful for me. My daughter had her tournament that she has at the end of her softball rec league at the end of the summer. They always have a tournament of the teams that they played, and everybody wins. If they win to the championship, they get a trophy, and there's a ceremony and everything. So I kind of took a little bit of a break and focused a lot of my energy and effort on helping my daughter's team win the championship, and we actually pulled off the win. It was down to the wire. The coaches, the head coach, lost her mother during the season, and she lost an assistant coach. So, I kind of felt obligated to, to step in, and I'm glad I could help them, go through the tournament, win the tournament, and very, very happy at that result. But here we are. We should be getting Paranormal Soapbox back on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, as scheduled for a while, and I'm happy for that because consistency is important. And speaking about consistency, we have our regulars Jess and Missy with us tonight. Girls, how are you doing, and are you ready?
I'm ready.
You're tired though, right? As you were saying, you were in the car all day.
Yes. Had to go pick up my daughter from sheriff's camp.
All right, so a lot of adulting going on, but we're here to give you guys the show this week. Like I said, we'll be back on every Tuesday. Hopefully, I'm going to start up Necromancer soon, so look forward to that. Feel free to share if you guys are new. Haven't watched this show before, just keep it classy. I want to know what you think of what we're talking about and what and sometimes we go off on tangents and get off topic. But I would like to know what you think about not only what I say but about Mercury Retrograde in general. And we're going to get rolling here. Astrology deals with the Mercury Retrograde. And basically what I'll start off by saying is the physical understanding of what Mercury retrograde is typically, when we're not in Mercury retrograde, Mercury travels through the sky in one direction, a normal direction. Okay, 3 or 4 times a year, it'll look like it's going in the opposite direction. So we call that a retrograde orbit, a retrograde motion. Okay, what's actually happening is an optical illusion. The best way to explain this optical illusion is just imagine you're on the highway, a 2-lane highway. You drive up along somebody in the right-hand lane, and on the left-hand lane, they're going the same speed as you. Okay, you're going alongside each other, and the person in the fast lane speeds up. You see them going in one direction, and usually the people in the fast lane are going by you in the same, just a forward direction in the way they're supposed to go. Let's just say, at times, the people in the right lane want to go faster. So when you're driving by the people in the left lane, even though they're going in one direction, from your vantage point, they're going in the opposite direction of you if you're speeding past them. Okay, so that's pretty much what's going on. Depending on the time of the year, the Earth, in relation to the other orbits, specifically Mercury in this case, will look like it's going the opposite direction, but we're just in a position where we're going at a faster rate at a certain angle around the sun. So essentially, we're in the right-hand lane going faster than what Mercury is. So that explains why you'll see Mercury in retrograde. Okay, that's the physical explanation. Scientifically, does this have anything to do with how we see existential philosophical things going on in our life? There's no scientific evidence or no objective reason why this should have anything to do or have any impact on our lives on the surface, in materialism, right? On the astrological end, 2,400 years ago, the 1st century BC, somewhere in the Middle East in Babylonia, they started giving meaning to astrological and celestial positions of the stars. We relied on so much when it come to the position of the sun, the moon, and the stars. We navigated with them. We planted our crops and harvested our crops to them. We gave them meaning in celestial significance when it come to our religions and how that personification of the divine had an impact on our lives. And there's a reason behind this, and I want to get into that a little bit before we get into, does Mercury retrograde mean what astrology says it means, okay? If you ask Justin Brown why human beings do this and why they did it back then, it's because our brains are designed to cope, evolve, and give meaning to our outside world as we perceive it. And there's a reason for that. It's not just a delusion. It's not just an illusion. There's meaning behind it. And there's pros and cons depending on the situation. And we'll go into the pros and cons. The pros is evolution, survival, and community. And pretty much primarily what everybody would agree with is how to deal with shitty lives. Okay, if you're poor, if you're suffering from disease, coping with death, coping with war, something terrible, the brain will seek ways to cope with these things. Okay, Far East, they called it karma. In the Middle East, they looked at things a little bit differently. The stars would align in a certain way to bring about certain events, when it's dealing with crops, politics, war, what have you. Okay, these are, in a way, you could say a coping mechanism or a way to give meaning to our lives to where it doesn't feel so random, so chaotic, or so unfair, because our brains are designed to have some type of existential meaning, some philosophical meaning. And there is a reason for that. Okay, it's not just because we like to dream shit up because it's fun. It's deeper than that. Although skeptics would like to paint, philosophical things and existential beliefs like astrology and paganism, a lot of aspects of paganism in that light. And there's another reason for that. That's another show. But we put this meaning in the stars as a part of our culture. We're painting a picture of how the universe can affect us. And here's a pro, okay? For example, Mercury Retrograde comes along. In this specific Mercury Retrograde, Mercury is in Cancer, and it's traveling along Mars's orbit, which is kind of rare and it's not a normal thing as far as I've researched. So this is kind of it gives it a little bit extra sting to what Mercury Retrograde is. Okay, Mercury is in control of communication. There's a lot of things that, it controls with machinery, computers, how we communicate with each other. And it's kind of a time where we can step back and assess, okay? When things aren't moving forward, they're kind of moving backward. We can kind of look at things in retrospect. So that's the existential meaning to retrograde. That's kind of like how we're giving it meaning. Whether that's true or not is not important at this time. That's the meaning we give it. So it's kind of like tarot cards. It's kind of like that sort of thing where we use this as a tool to step back and evaluate a situation. Now, these situations that we're now looking at differently are always there. But during times like this, we can use this as a tool to look at things a little bit differently, do some self-assessment, and maybe look at things in a different light so we can become better people, have better relationships, talk to each other in a better way, and just become better. Okay? If it is an illusion, if it is, we're just a bunch of woo, or we're a bunch of crazy people, it's still having a positive impact on our lives. Much like Christianity and other religions out there. That's what it's good for. That's why our brains are designed to believe in such things, and this is why it's a part of our culture. As long as everyone understands the nuts and bolts of these things, we can kind of shelf it, okay? I believe that we don't want to look at things mechanically and objectively all the time, because our emotional beings and our spiritual beings resist it. Okay, when you get into metaphysical practices, we resist such things because that's not innate to our spiritual being. Okay, we're in constant conflict and phase, and trying to decohere from the physical vibrations. The more you become spiritual, the more you want to decohere from things. Okay, so Mercury retrograde affects people who are more metaphysical, more spiritual. They're trying to vibrate with those types of things, so they might find the side effects of Mercury retrograde in their lives a little bit more prominent than people who do not. So the con is people kill each other over gods and star alignments, and they get all crazy. They start arguments. They look at people, badly. They judge people badly because of their beliefs. But I think the largest con out of it all is fighting amongst each other on whose God is real, whose God is holy, and who's evil, and all those types of things, right? That's the con of this issue that we're talking about. So when it comes to human behavior, there's going to be a duality there. We're going to have to try to find balance in between the two. I think what's interesting about it is we as people, as creatures on this earth, can use something. We can create and manifest something that isn't physically there. We can give meaning to something that wouldn't mean the same thing to somebody else or another life form, but we can create that to bring our culture and our families and our relationships closer together just by the power of intent, imagination, and spirituality. And that is the takeaway that I have with Mercury retrograde. We can go into some shout outs. I know there's a lot of people commenting. I haven't had a chance to read any of them, fortunately. So that's what we're going to do right now.
Okay, I have Derek.
All right. Share some. Interesting. Okay, well, thanks for joining us. It's nice to see Holly there. It's nice to see Brandy Marie. I haven't. I don't remember if she's ever commented on one of our shows, but we're glad to have her.
She can't hear me.
All right, we'll go back to your screen. We'll try to fix this problem again. I'll unmute that and mute this. Go ahead and talk again and see if you work there.
Do I work? Can you guys hear me now?
If there's going to be a delay. I swear to God, there's some kind of problem with this mixer that it's not working right. So go ahead and repeat it again and see if they can hear you now.
Okay. I've got Derek Schreiner. I got Josh Bender. I've got Valerie Bright. I've got Brandy Marie. I've got Becky. I've got Holly. I've got Josh Fritz and Sandy Griffith. And we are talking about Mercury retrograde and how it has affected us. And now Holly's making fun of me. She says she's just talking away. Nobody can hear her.
Yeah, I have it set up like I normally do, and for some reason you're not coming through. So I don't know why.
But they can all hear me now.
They can.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's only when you're on your individual screen that they can't hear you. That's when I have to change mixer settings.
Well, you don't have to put me on my individual screen. I'll be fine.
Well, we don't even have to have the show, do we? We can just not have the show. None of this would be a pain in my ass. All right, who we got on YouTube?
Okay, we have Betty, Limelight Girl, Glenda, Marilyn, Orbologist, Karma Knows, John Cool, and Josh came over.
Nice. Any interesting comments, questions?
No, John Cool just said 2 more weeks to the Gettysburg Bash, which I'm really excited about, but nothing so far.
Got to see John for the first time there last year, so we'll get to see him again. Hopefully we get to do more than just sit there and talk at the booth. That's the goal this year, John. Do more than what we did last year as a community with each other. So we're talking about Mercury retrograde, and I wanted to bring up something, a pro. Okay, I want to give a little bit more detailed example. If you find in this specific retrograde that people will come across a little bit more angrier, a little bit more nastier, the communication will be a little bit skewed in that regard. Okay, so someone might tell you something, they'll be mean to you, and you'll be more sensitive to it, and it might cause an issue with the relationship. So realizing that you're in Mercury retrograde and this is a thing that could happen is not indifferent from any other time. This could happen in any time, but the fact that people have the belief that they're in Mercury retrograde and these things happen, they will look at the situation differently. So when you would normally hold a resentment, however you hold resentments for however long, at this point in time, you're like, maybe Mercury retrograde is causing me to be more sensitive, so maybe I should be more forgiving. And that is a pro. Okay. So it might help heal relationships and help with communication and help understand, step outside of yourself and look at things a little bit differently. And I think that is the power and the truth behind astrology and any other form of existential belief or philosophical belief or anything like that. I think when people try to debate whether it actually influences our lives the way we believe it does, they're missing out on the purpose and the use of it. And I want to know what you guys think about my point of view on this. Do you agree with what I'm saying, or do you literally feel that since Earth is traveling past Mercury in the right lane faster than it is in the left lane, do you actually think that it does what it, the belief says it does? Obviously there's a way to test this, but who would want to do it? You would have to write down everything that happens in your life during retrograde, out of retrograde, and see if there is an increase. Okay, of course there would be some flaws to that. It would be highly subjective. So I think someone studying you from the outside would be the best way to do it objectively, but who would want to do that, right? That's not practical. So, but not impossible. But what do you think, Jess? I mean, have you been a believer in astrology?
Not until recently. I'm like, yeah, I'm a Gemini. I didn't really technically knew what that meant or that I cared then. Really. But just recently, I would say for probably about a year now that I've been, doing a little bit of reading up on it and trying to understand everything.
Do you feel like since you've, been a part of the group and been around us, do you feel like you're looking at things differently? Like you're trying to find meanings and existential meanings and truths about your spirituality?
100%. I do believe that I think everything is, there's reasonings for everything. And I try to look at it differently than how for so many years I have looked at it prior.
Right. Do you pay too much attention to how a skeptic or how someone who is, neck deep in materialism would look at that from an outside source? Does that bother you, or are you just kind of like, you don't care?
Well, in my situation, no, a skeptic doesn't bother me. Because I know when I do readings and stuff like that, this is shit that I would have never known. And some of the stuff, it's like, how could somebody make it up if you would make it up?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just seems like coincidence, statistically speaking, coming up with these things doesn't seem like it's feasible at that point, is what you're saying. I understand.
Right.
And what's interesting about horoscopes is the timing of it when it come into Western culture. Like around late 60s, early 70s, horoscopes were being printed. Daily horoscopes were being read and printed in the newspapers and magazines, Reader's Digest. It started permeating the media and leaking into our culture, our Western culture. And, around this time, there was a paradigm shift in perception during this time. Obviously, if you've, researched the history of our culture during that time. Okay, so there's awakening. People were, as they say now, being woke and looking at things a lot differently. And I equate this to tarot card readings because I know a lot of people here in the chat and here on the show look into tarot card. And basically what it does is it gives you a little worm dangling on a hook. It gives you something to focus in on. Whatever the cards say or whatever the astrological sign says, you give notice to it. It applies to anyone and everyone. Whatever the description of a Gemini says, you can apply to what how an Aries is. You just can. With that being said, when you get a tarot card reading, when you get an astrological reading, it's the same thing to me. But the whole matter of drawing notice to things that do apply to our lives, it should apply to everyone. But it will make you look at things differently because our brains are constantly looking for existential meanings to things. We feel like life is chaotic. We feel like there's someone pulling the strings. So it just helps in that regard. It's a tool. What do you think about that, Missy? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, where did you come up with Aries and Gemini? Did you just pull that out of the air?
Well, Jess is a Gemini and I'm an Aries, so I was just using it as a comparison.
Okay, well, so am I, so it just worked out that way, I guess.
That's not a coincidence. That was magic just happened.
Right, yeah, okay.
I see a lot of comments on Facebook. Do you want to start addressing them?
Holly said, well, I asked if anybody else was having trouble sleeping, and everyone is. Holly said she is. Holly said she is, but she dreams a lot.
Yeah, I haven't slept worth a fuck.
Me either.
This whole week.
Holly said, I think depending on people's issues that are on their path is how things happen. It's like the planes of existence that we are closer to at certain times. And I feel retrograde does the same, but for a different purpose.
Okay, so they're saying that the tweak in perception during Mercury retrograde can kind of give rise to sensitivities and perceptions of other things.
Yes.
Okay.
And if it's possible, my dreams have become more vivid this week. And I'm like, this can't be happening.
See, that's what it's interesting to me too. I'm like picking up on a lot more things. I'm reading a lot more people, and my readings are like things that I haven't done before. Like it's very strange.
Do you feel tweaked?
I don't know what it is, but I mean it's obviously it's been fun, and I mean no issues, but I mean I'm having other things issues that I've been experiencing, but I feel like more in tune.
Give us a little taste of what you mean.
The sleeping thing. I mean, tossing and turning all night long. 2:30 in the morning, I finally fall asleep. Actually, ever since the solar eclipse, when was that? Was that last week? 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
2 days before retrograde started.
I mean, been in a great mood. It's almost like affected me different than a lot of other people. But I mean, it's like good mood, good. I'm and it's such in a good mood. But if like one little thing, then I fly off, and then I'm like, oh, I'm calm again.
Poor Josh.
No, actually. Okay, you want to talk about Josh with this whole thing going on? I'm just joking.
Maybe later.
But I mean, well, it's just like my daughter went to pick her up, and she walked out of the building bawling. I'm thinking, what in the world is going on with her? Because I mean, it's not like she's never home. I mean, during the summer, she's never home. So I know it wasn't like, oh, I'm so excited to be home. No, that wasn't it. But I mean, I'm like, oh, I get it. And she's like, Mom, I didn't sleep. It's like, oh, yeah, it's Mercury. Yay. But I mean, it's just my anxiety has been pretty high. Josh would vouch for that with me driving today in the car. But it's like more, I'm getting more in tune with, my abilities. And I wasn't expecting that.
Holly said, poor Silas.
Oh, Silas.
Yeah. It's interesting. And another thing I want to bring up is the Mercury retrograde's always all over social media. And I often wonder how much that will affect our perception of not only Mercury retrograde, but of how it will shift people's behavior. Now they're finding alternate reasons. Some people would use quotation mark excuses for their behavior. You know what I mean? So now everybody's aware, if they're on social media, that this is this thing that happens 4 times a year and it makes you act a certain way, then they're like, oh, okay, well, if I feel like in a shitty mood, I can just blame it on Mercury retrograde and things are different now. You know what I mean? So what do you guys think in the chat, and girls, you can chime in too, about it being more aware in our culture and social media? Do you think that has an impact on how we view not only Mercury retrograde, but how we act accordingly? Missy, do you feel like you use Mercury retrograde as a crutch, an excuse, or does it just give more meaning to what you feel like is outside your control?
It to me, it just gives more meaning to the stuff that's out of my control. I just I'm like, I'll see things and I'm like, okay, what was that? Like, I seen some guy walking through the house the other day and I'm like, who was that? He was gone and I'm still sitting there like, who was that?
It's the ghosts of all those people you cheated on Derek with.
What?
I'm just teasing. So you think you see apparitions or what you believe is something spiritual more during Mercury retrograde? Because you report that all the time.
Yeah. Well, like I said, the dreams that I'm having, if it's possible, are more vivid. Like, the people are standing. I can't tell. Like, usually I can tell whether it's a dream or if I'm completely awake and they're standing in front of me, but I can't tell.
Okay. That's
like the other night I had a dream about you and Josh, and I'll swear that you guys were sitting on the patio. I was sitting on the patio with you guys.
But you were asleep at the time.
But I was asleep.
So the dreams are more vivid, seem more real.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Well, it definitely seems like there's a trend.
No, Josh. He said, "LOL, retrograde is making Justin say mean things."
No, I say mean things equally all the time. I try to keep my asshole-ish ways pretty consistent. Like, if I feel like I've been too nice for a day or two, I'll do something mean to counteract it.
What is that word she just used, Justin?
Who, Holly?
Yeah.
Let me see what comment you're referring to. Her last one?
Yeah.
However, if things are out of the sort in your life, you will find they become more prevalent.
No. The other one.
More meaning for sure. No, I didn't. Usually doesn't affect me. I'm glad you.
No, it's the SPEC.
Oh, spectrophilia.
Yeah, is a thing. What is that?
I'm not. I've heard of the term. We can Google it real quick. Okay. Well, did I type it right? No, I didn't. It has a T in it. All right. Spectrophilia definition. It is a fetish that is classified as the paraphilia in which one is attracted to ghosts or spirits. Spectrophilia fantasize about ghosts and often images scenarios involving
sex with ghosts.
Okay. Okay. There you go. I knew there was a reason why I didn't know what it was. I know I've heard it before, but a lot of stuff that I run across, I'm like, do I want to use hard drive space for that? Probably not. It is all about the memes, though. You see the stories and articles about that all the time.
I have a question on YouTube.
Yay.
Stephanie Scott joins. She's an empath. She says, as an empath, I tend to feel that that are not like when I'm upset. I feel a hand on my back, or I can feel the pain that no one's there, that is mine, etc. Is that normal or is that bipolar?
It's normal.
She said her therapist says it's not normal. It's normal, honey.
All right. As an empath, I tend to feel things that are not there. Like when I am upset, I feel a hand, or if I can feel pain that no one's there, that not mine. That's not hers.
Mhm.
It's the discernment between whether that.
Wait. Hold on, Justin. Tell her what you would tell Missy or I.
No. You can treat your friends like dog shit, but if you don't know somebody, you gotta be nice to them, right? So
everybody can.
So here's the conundrum for the paranormal, right? Stephanie, it's that is Stephanie. Yeah, Stephanie. It's hard to discern what's paranormal and what's not until you start looking at things more objective. Okay, so if you're feeling things, and like you stated here, if you believe you're an empath, you will be biased to a lot of things that you're feeling that you think is anomalous, that you think is not yours or not normal. Okay, so if you want to know more, if that's real, if you want to more validation or more discernment, try to step away from your belief of it for a moment, okay, and try to look at things a little bit more objective. Okay, have you been, has your sleep been good? Has your diet been good? Has your relationships been good? Is there any reasons for you to be moody? Is there any reasons for you to have anomalous behavior or erratic behavior? Your psychological mental health, you're going to have to start doing that, or offering, or asking for people to offer their advice from an outside, perspective, looking in to help you discern whether these things are what you believe they are. That's the best way I can kind of come at you with that.
Sorry, go ahead.
We have talked about this before, Justin. She gave herself, she gave herself one, and the doctor gave her another one. She gave herself the title of empath, and the doctor gave her the title of bipolar. Why do you have to stereotype it?
Well, doctors generally don't believe that empaths are a thing. They think that's a delusion. They think people, there's no objective proof that people can do that.
Right, I understand that, but still, it's like,
That's why. That's why they like, if you were a doctor and I was a patient and I came into your office and I'm like, oh, I was just sitting there one day looking outside, seeing my cat meow. I went out there, put some food in the bowl, and all of a sudden I felt a strange feeling of wanting to be attacked behind me. And you look around, there's nothing there or no reason to tell you that you should be afraid of being attacked. And the doctor would have been like, oh, tell me more. Have you felt like this more? And I'm like, yeah, well, one time I felt like I was being watched and there was no one there. And you start telling them things like that, they're going to be like, you might be fucking crazy. Okay.
White jacket time.
Yeah. They'll never consider a possibility that you have, a psychic ability, or if there's, a disembodied intelligence, that you're picking up on an energy. They're not gonna tell you that, and that's why that happens.
To
me, do you have anything?
No.
Okay. Orbologist says, I see energy field around Justin. John Cool says, I have a lot of dreams too, but I contribute it to the bag of gummy bears I eat every night before going to bed.
Yeah, eating sugar before you go to bed will definitely do stuff. I've tested that.
Betty
never drink orange juice before you go to bed, especially if you have sugar.
Orange juice, really?
Yeah, if you have any sugar, if you're susceptible to be having low or high sugar, if it's not as stable as it normally should, you should have nothing to eat for sweets before you go to bed. The low end of the spectrum is you'll feel restless and not want to go to bed, but if you do, your REM stages will be insane with dreams.
Betty says I dream every night, crazy dreams that are very derailed, and I usually remember them when I wake up. If I don't, something will trigger me to remember them during the day. So it's like she forgets them, and then later on she remembers what she dreamt about that prior night.
Yeah, that's definitely something normal in my memory. If I forget something, I'll just, leave it alone, and something will remind me of what it was, either just after a moment or later on the day, and it could be even longer than that.
Yeah, I was going to say it happens to me, like, it could be days before I remember.
Yeah, memories suck.
Sorry, but yeah, it said detailed. Well, I don't know what word I said. Derailed, I think I said.
You're referring to your ability to read. It's derailed. I'm just joking. You're doing fine.
I'm going to stab your third eye out.
Okay, well, on that note, let's start talking. Let's start talking. There's
somebody out there joining.
Okay, go ahead.
Bear point.
Make sure you read their name right.
Post. Bear. I'm too tired to deal with your shit, Justin Brown.
I don't know why or how you deal with the shit, but you're pretty good at it.
All over
it. You should be like a professional dealing with Justin's shit person.
I could probably get paid a lot of money.
That'd be awesome.
That would. Missy and I would be like rolling in the dough.
You'd be very well off. You wouldn't be on this show right now. You'd be in the Bahamas. No,
that's too hot. I don't do that. But yeah, like especially when the three of you guys get together, and Missy and I were like,
right?
It compounds together.
Well, think about what happens when you're not with me,
right? So
I'm just sitting there by myself.
She's the only target. Just give it right back to us, girls. All right, let's shift gears. I want to talk about paranormal media versus peer review. Scientific, objective. Here's what I got. What do you think? Give me an explanation or any type of feedback. So the reason why I want to talk about this for a little while, and we'll end the show on it, is I'll get comments. If I get a lot of views on a video on YouTube or whatever, I'll get comments of people and be like, why do you put music in the videos? Are you trying to make us feel a certain way? Are you trying to make something into what it's not? They feel like it's some type of deceptive tactic that I'm using. And if you hear my son screaming in the background, I'm sorry. I guess you're going to have to deal with it. Anyway.
He's only 7. Just let him go.
He's only 7. I guess he's just getting tall enough to where I don't have to punch downward. I can just kind of punch.
Justin! Oh my gosh!
I'm just joking. Anyway.
He's not joking.
I don't punch Braylon. Anyway, he punches me. All right, let's get this stuff straight. Anyway.
Well, he should. If I could, I would punch you too.
Anyway, that's why you've noticed that I've been trying to do more peer review, because you have to address the comments, right? Look, I love filmmaking. I love putting stuff together, putting my artistic spin on things, but I don't like deviating from what's real, what's actual, what we caught. I don't fake things. But so people will try, that attack you. They'll try to use any excuse that they have, anything that they can pick apart to make you, feel vulnerable to those accusations. So the difference is, no, the stuff that we have in our YouTube series is not peer review. There's segments in it that we have anomalous things happen that we could or could not label paranormal. We leave it up to the audience to decide those things, and we just present it to them in the format of something entertaining to watch. I tell you what, if we just put all of our raw data up, just how we recorded it, we would have less followers and less interest in what we do. So, I like doing that stuff. People like watching that stuff. That's why we do it. But on the other end of it, the importance of just giving people raw data and just giving people this flat out what happened, that is useful. And there is a major difference. And I want to make it clear for people that come across this channel, come across this show, and are trying to look at our stuff. I want to make it clear that, hey, we want people to peer review our data. We don't want to just release our raw stuff just to anybody that can do whatever they want to with it. You know, this is our property. So we have been releasing stuff to Patreons. So with this being said, if you are interested in seeing our raw data from our investigations, all you got to do is donate $1 a month on Patreon and you have access to it. You got to at least be on board enough to where we feel like if you are willing to contribute a little bit to our paranormal field work, we can trust you with it. Okay. I'm just not going to give anybody, terabytes worth of data that they can just steal or tamper or use it to attack us, because that will happen if you allow it. But at the same time, we want to be able to, put the stuff out there for you guys to give us what you feel, because that's valuable to me. I mean, what do you girls think about that? And let me know in the comments, guys, what you think about that. Don't all jump at once.
I agree. I think it's a good thing. Just being picky of who you said, so nobody can use any of the documents against anybody. But I think it's a good idea having more people, Justin Brown's not perfect, and so he might miss something.
Absolutely. I mean, it's so daunting to go over everything all the time. I guarantee you I miss more than I probably get because of my limited ability to go over it. And, we can't help to be biased either, even though we try not to be. We're looking...
is a little.
What?
Jessica is a little.
Oh, just a little bit.
Yeah. She's full on bias. She's got bias in her blood.
I have the stamp. Bam.
She's got bias in her blood. Anyway, quit distracting me with funny things. It's important to try to stay objective, and the only way you can do it is like, okay, this is what I think, but I really want to know what you think. And if we get a bunch of what I thinks from different people, and we kind of cross-check everything and analyze it, step away from it, and look at it from multiple perspectives, I think we can look at it collectively and get more of a collective feedback and analysis of such things. That's valuable to us and valuable to me. But
YouTube chat is not on the screen.
There's a problem with this chat app. I'm gonna have it fixed for next week, guys. Chat app. I'm gonna have it fixed for next week. I'm sorry. Here, I'll try to restart it again.
Chat app.
Stop it.
I'm so tired.
Yeah, that's the wrong one. You just give me a second. I have two installed on my computer. The other one that I installed, I haven't got it configured yet, and I don't quite. It's a lot different, so. Okay. I thought that was the different one. Yeah, this is annoying. It's really annoying. Okay. See if that's the right. Yeah, okay, it's the right one. So you're going to see a whole bunch of comments probably load screen real quick. And it's going to be crazy looking. Or it's just going to update. There we go. There's the YouTube comments. Read fast, everyone. Read it really fast. How fast of a reader are you guys? Not that fast. You can peer review on a medium like YouTube because of the data loss due to compression. Yeah, what we've been doing, John, is I've been uploading the raw data to Google Drive with all the metadata intact, and I just provide the links in our Facebook group or on our Patreon-only Patreon page so that you can download straight raw data. So that is a good point to bring up. So if you are a Patreon and you want to, review our stuff, you will get the raw stuff from Google Drive. And that's how we've been doing it.
Betty made a comment. I feel like you guys are legitimates. I thought that I found another paranormal investigators and have been disappointed. You guys, I feel I can believe in.
Well, that's refreshing and awesome. Yeah. It's hard. I mean, there's so much stuff out there. The last 10, 15 years, everybody's trying to get on that bandwagon. Everybody's trying to use it for whatever, and I was swept up in it. When I first wanted to get in the field, I was like, oh, that's all over the TV. It's on the news. I can do this stuff. I have all these questions and desires to understand more about what I've experienced and want to figure out about life after death and what ghosts are and what everything else about it is. But as you go along, you have to make a choice. Do you want to stay real? Do you want to be viewed as a joke or somebody who is not afraid to say they're wrong, not afraid to change and alter the views, to, learn, move forward? Those things are important to us, and that's what we advocate. And I think our small community that we have here all agree with that, and that's why they keep watching, that's why they keep following, because we're not afraid to tell you what we think. We're not afraid to be like, oh, we did think this one way, but we found evidence that we're not right about it, so we're going to say we were wrong, and this is what we believe it is now. And that's what science does. That's why I like science so much, is they don't really care if they're wrong. Science journals and books and textbooks change every 50, 100 years, it seems like. And I will do that. I mean, if you go back from the very first time I started to now, it's vastly different. And that's just because I'm trying to better, my methods, trying to learn. So I'm glad that you've have faith in us now, and hopefully you can retain that.
RJ Murphy said he just a quick flyby to say howdy. Hope everyone is doing great.
Thanks, RJ. Hopefully you got your package that I sent out. I know Clay Borman validated that he got his, so he should have got his too.
He said, just got done moving the family back to California. Happy camper here. We will be investigating very soon. Back to investigating very soon.
Good. I'm looking forward to seeing some stuff. RJ Murphy don't mess around either. He don't care about being popular. Uh-oh. My wife's yelling at the kids.
Is she yelling at the kids, or is she yelling at you?
If she was yelling at me, she'd be in here, I would say. Yelling at me in here.
Betty says, I just started watching and I will feel safe helping through Patreon.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's definitely there for if you want to, definitely if you want to see a lot of cool stuff that a lot of people normally don't see, because they're, in our Facebook group for Patreon, we definitely try to give exclusive content. You get to vote on a lot of topics of this show. We definitely can use all the support we get, because this crap is expensive. Just doing this show is hard work. You can only imagine what producing all the paranormal media that we do, all the travel expense, and the expense of the equipment. It just goes on and on and on. So any help would be very appreciated.
RJ said I did, and it's awesome.
Yeah, I think I sent him the Rhodes Hotel Blu-ray.
Yeah.
So hopefully it worked. I didn't test it. My Blu-ray player died. So let me know if it played good. I probably should get one so I can test it. But I've never had a problem with any of them. Does RJ have a YouTube channel? I'm pretty sure. I know he has a Facebook page.
Read the next comment.
Murphy Paranormal. Facebook comment? Looking at my app, I think it might be slow. Yepers, I have to check it out.
Sandy's comment.
My Paranormal Soapbox Interface Death is the only thing I watch now. Don't lie to me. I see you on that freaking Crystal page that you got me watching, Sandy. Was it Crystal Fantasia or whatever the hell it is? That dude that has every crystal known to man, and his wife, his daughter, I think it is. I'm like,
I can't watch those.
Like, I have to turn it off because I'm about ready to rob somebody to buy me some crystals.
Well, I keep buying these little trinket dishes, and he's like, oh, that's cute. He's like, what are you going to put in that? I'm like, my crystals. And he's like, which ones? I said, the ones you're going to buy me. He's like, what? He's like, I thought we were done with that. I'm like, no.
The newest crystal Missy got me is this one. I don't know if it'll focus as well, but it's a healing crystal, and It's pretty awesome. I really like it. I used it on Christy yesterday. So you guys can message Christy and ask her how well that worked. She has a couple bad teeth back there, and they're inflamed her gums and her whole jaw, making her whole side of her head hurt.
Melissa Grubbs just jumped on and said, hey guys, showing the love.
Hey Melissa, thanks for showing the love. We love you too. All right, we're coming to the end to this. So yeah, the takeaways from this show is Mercury Retrograde, whether it actually physically alters our ways of viewing things, or it causes things to break down, or communications to break down, or your dreams to become more vivid, or it causes you lack of sleep physically, I do not know. It's possible, but not very probable. All right, I'll say that. But what I will say, the main takeaway is that is not as important as the utilization of what it is. Okay, if it helps you become a better person, it is good, whether it has any implication in our physical realm that's measurable or not. And hopefully that was a good takeaway from you, and hopefully that, is a good, good. But as far as the peer review versus the paranormal media, hey, look, I like making the videos cool and entertaining to watch, but at the same time, trying to keep it raw, trying to keep it real. It's actual stuff that we believe is paranormal, or could be. That's why we're putting it out there. If you just want the peer review, no music, no editing, raw, become a Patreon, $1 a month. You get access to anything that you want or ask for. You get recognized in our live videos. You're producers of our media. You're painted everywhere, and that in itself hopefully is worth your time and effort in contributing to what we do. So I want to wrap it up, girls. Is there anything else in chat that we need to address before we do that?
The orbologist says put that crystal over your third eye, Justin.
Put it over my third eye. Okay. I can do it like a unicorn. Crystal corn.
I can't. I'm too tired.
Go to sleep.
No, I need my coffee. I smell it. Josh made me coffee.
That does sound good. All right.
Oh, no, Betty. I sent you a friend request, Betty.
I think you should put it on his belly button.
No. I can't do belly buttons. I'm sorry, belly button. I can't
just for Jessica, I'm going to put it in my belly button right now.
Quit.
Oh, it's just the tip though, Jess. It's just the tip. All right, guys. Thanks for watching once again. Hopefully you found the show entertaining and resourceful. I appreciate it very much. We're going to go back to every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Paranormal Soapbox. I'm going to start scheduling Necromancer live shows on Wednesday nights at the same time on 8 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to start interviewing some people again and start engaging with the community even more. Thanks for your support. If you want to check out our social links, our website is interfacedeath.net or .com. It is the hub of everything we do. It's got all of our social media links, our videos, our online store, everything, right? If you're watching on YouTube, you can check out Justin Brown Paranormal Research on Facebook and Interface Death. You check out Interface Death on Twitter and Instagram. And if you're only on Facebook, head on over to YouTube. At least click that subscribe button and that notification bell. It helps us out, even though you don't watch YouTube. It would help us out. And Patreon, of course. Patreon.com/support Interface Death is a way to keep this content going and growing. Make it better. Make it here to stay. So people like Clay Borman, Katie Turner, RJ Murphy, Scotty Fox, Casey Schreiner, Jessica Bias, Paranormal Reporter, Joe Vitale, Heather Elliott, Cherry Capital, Shadow Seekers, The Ghost Guild, Kelly McConkey, Tony Pelosi, and General 7. They are the ones that bring you this free content, and it's just getting better and better, guys. Thank you very much. Please go over and check out the rewards. You get everything from $1 a month on up. The tiers are there, descriptions are there, and that's where I'll leave it. Thank you. You guys have a good weekend. I'll be glad to get back on a regular schedule once again. We did have our paranormal investigation for July cancel for some really weird stuff that I won't get into, but we do have the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash at the end of this month coming up, and July and August, I do believe we're going to Moundsville. Yeah, we're going to Moundsville to do the Archive of the Afterlife. So the next episode's coming out is the Anchorage, Old Licking County Jail, and then we have the one we just did. Girls, help me remember the one we just did. Crap, I don't remember the one we just did. Madison Seminary. There we go. So thanks for joining us, guys. Stick around for some video promotions. We put a lot of time and effort in that, and hopefully you guys will check them out. You guys have a good evening. We'll see you next time.
I'd like to see you. What the fuck was that?
Do you have that drive? That morbid curiosity to explore the darkness? Do you have what it takes to brave the night? You do? Good.
Dead light. For those who aren't afraid to see what lurks
just heard something.
It feels like it's train. Non-stop. I don't know why.